Time for the sponsor's opening commercial message.
The federal health insurance marketplace is now open, so if you're under 65, you're free to shop for the health plan that's right for you. UPMC Health Plan has some of the lowest price plans on the marketplace. Plus, you may be eligible for financial assistance to help you pay for your insurance. For affordable coverage that includes access to UPMC and digital tools to help you manage your health, visit upmchealthplan.com/marketplace. Enroll today.
All right, you're asking for it, so here it is.
Epicast.
Listen to this.
I want you fucking laughing at. We partners pod, kid. You understand? We in here drinking, singing, singing, all that shit, dog. We sweating, getting wet, and all that.
New Year. All right. Welcome to the 240th episode of the Drinking Partners Podcast. Yes, this is our Sean Kemp episode because we going hard in the paint. And that's all I got for that because he went to Cleveland and played for the Cavs and he got fat and it was just a terrible thing for the city and for himself. But I am half of your hosting tandem, Ed Bailey. I'm joined as always with my co-host Dave Bracey. Say what up to the people.
What's good with you people? We are the Drinking Partners, and if you're looking for us, you can find us on epiccastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, Google Play, and Spotify under Drinking Partners. You can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod. Man, shit, like 5 years now, man. Like 200 some odd episodes.
240
like
to be
200 and
sort of.
240 episodes we've been
40-ish.
asking y'all, man. Something around there. We've lost a few. We've thrown a couple away. You know, I mean, there's been some unnumbered ones, some forgotten ones. But listen, man, we've been asking y'all, and we will continue to ask you, man. Please hop on iTunes, hop on Facebook, rate and review. That's how we know we're doing well. That's how we let others know that we're doing well, and that's how we continue to do well, man. So please hop on iTunes, hop on Facebook, rate and review.
Hey, listen, you love us. You see us out in public and you tell us that you love us. Now, at the click of a button, please tell the internet. Please tell the world. Tell everybody, all right? Now, this is a new year, new us. We really need those rates and reviews. We need y'all to let us know what's going on. We're at this 5-year mark. You know, do we need to reinvent ourselves? You know, we've been trying to expand. We've been doing other things, but this is the foundation. You know, we love coming here, love bringing and showcasing what this city has to offer.
Yeah.
You know, whether music, politics, beer, obviously, everything. So let us know what you want to hear, who you want to see, what you've loved from us, you know, whatever you can, all right? And as always, and this will never change.
Nah.
In lieu of rates and reviews.
We said it in the 10s.
Look, we've said
bringing it to
10s,
the 20s.
The roaring 20s, they call it. Or is that still the roaring 20s?
Hey, man, I'm going to be roaring in this motherfucker.
But the roaring 20s was the 1920s.
Yeah.
We wasn't in a good
listen,
space.
100 years from now, they're going to look at us the same way we looking at them. So, yeah, I mean, we might as well get a good cool sounding shit. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing new under the sun anyway.
So listen. As always, in lieu of rates and reviews, we do accept shots of Hennessy, all right? Yeah. Shout out to Car Guy DJ, a.k.a. James Logbo, a.k.a. the swaggest dude to ever drive a car, and the Conways for starting the trend. Shout out to everybody who kept that trend going. Shout out to everybody who brought us into 2020, man, feeling good about ourselves, feeling that the future is bright, man. Drinking Partners, that's what's up, all right? So make sure y'all leave those reviews and those rates, though, because we gotta read those out, man. We got to let people know.
Yeah, I mean, we want to know, like, genuinely, like, let us know what you like, what you don't like, and who you want to see. You know what I mean? Like, this is a community thing, you know? We got here through support in the community and community support for us. So, you know, let us know. You know what I mean? Who's out there? I mean, who are we missing? Who's being overlooked? Who ain't got enough shine? Let us know, man.
And even if you don't want to leave anything like substantial, just let us know that you enjoying us, right? It could be something as simple as this. We got a review titled Funniest-ish Ever because this person must be Christian or something like that. You could curse on our reviews. We curse on our episodes. We definitely don't give a fuck. But it's a simple look. 5-star, college days swiftly passed. Shout out to Face 08. I know that's a fraternity brother of mine. I'm going to figure out who it was.
Nice.
But speaking of college days, you know, we got some events going up. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to bring us a shot of Hennessy, we got plenty of opportunities because we're always doing something out in the world. All right, so what we got?
Speaking of college, we got the Penn State dip, and coming through. Penn State McKees
Horizons.
you know what I mean? Like come through, what was that? January 16th.
Alexis, we got Seneca Stone,
Yeah.
and I'll be headlining just to show you that I really do this. All right, I really tell these jokes.
We gonna be telling. You might hear a couple of jokes from the 1900s. All right, I mean for all the.
I was alive then.
Yeah. I mean for all the kids in the building and whatnot, but come through. You know what I mean? And then what was it? January 18th. We got Dwayne Duke coming in from I don't know where is he coming from Cleveland, I believe. Coming through, So coming down Arcade Comedy Theater, headlining that. Sponsored by Three Rivers Underground Brewing, man.
AKA Trub.
Yo, I'm super excited. So we got this residency with the Underground Brewing, and they're gonna have a couple of brewers come out to all of our shows and pour beer, like homebrewed beer. And like, here's the thing, if you've ever been to any of the festivals, we've been promoting Brewing Up a Cure for years now.
Yes.
And
shout out to Billy.
Shout out to Billy. I'm bridging the gap and whatnot. But we've been promoting that for years. And if you go to this festival, it is top notch A1 beer. It's like handmade beer. It's dope. Shout out to all the big brews, all the commercial brews or whatever. But it's kind of the difference between a commercial kitchen and going to grandma's house kind of thing. You see what I'm saying? So I
can see that.
It's the same quality of item, but it's more like let me
grandma
add a little.
Cooking on stainless steel. Like imagine if your grandma had a nice stove.
Yeah, imagine if Trogs was all the small batch. You know what I mean? All of the little, cooking up the little bits on the backs. You know what I mean? So come out for the next 3 months to the shows, and Three Rivers Underground Brewing will be pouring there. And you can get in if you're interested in craft brewing and you're like, I don't really know how to. This is the way to get in, man. Most of the brewers, if you've listened to this podcast, a lot of the brewers that have started their brewing, you throw a rock at it and you could hit one, but they go through Three Rivers Underground or Three Rivers Association of Serious Home Brewers. You know what I mean?
The trash.
The trash.
I'm like, why they choose that acronym? Like, why you go there?
But you go through the home brewing clubs, and it's free information, man. You want to know where to get the cheapest malts? You go sit at a home brewing day. They're like, listen, man, we got a whole list. I got the hookup, and they're trading information. This is what you did wrong here. This is how you can improve. You know what I mean? So, come out to the shows. Not only are you getting some funny, you're getting some good beer, and you're getting some keys. So that's
they selling shows early in 2020.
Arcade comedy,
selling shows early. God damn it, I feel good about what we're doing, and we're doing it again on January 25th because we do 2 monthlies every month. Every third Saturday of the month we'll be at Arcade Comedy Theater, and every last Saturday of the month we will be at Contra Theater. First show being January 25th, headlined by someone we worked with back in the 2010s, but we bringing some of the old into something new. We got T-Row, in the building headlining. As always at Contra Theater, we got Trub on deck that night. So you already know what it is, man. It's New Year, new graphic, but the same vibes. All right. So check us out, man. Come and bring that Hennessy, please. Bring that Hennessy.
Take them down little bottles. They sell them in little bottles.
They sell shots in a bottle.
Yeah,
bottle shots.
Yeah, bottle shots.
Bottle shots. Oh, I can't wait to go to an NBA game and they shooting bottle shots of Hennessy out there. Shooting weak ass T-shirts that I'll never wear. Like a bottle shot of Hennessy out there, Joe.
Speaking of bottle shots, they got these little tripels, the triples, whatever, from Allagash is like bottle shots because this is a 9%er.
Yeah, what are we on? Which one are we on? We got a couple up here.
So this is the tripel, the Belgian style golden ale from Allagash. So like they up in Maine. Apparently they coming through to Pittsburgh. And they're going to be distributing out this way, and they're pretty renowned. Like they're kind of like OGs in the game. Like Buzzy doesn't get excited about shit very easily, and this motherfucker was like, holy, it was like Christmas for this dude. Yeah,
he's like, yo, I gotta get one of them Scullies. I need it.
Yeah, and I get it. This is very well crafted, and it's nice.
It don't feel like a 9. No. It's almost like it's almost Kolsch like when it, with the color and the feel like when it hit the mouth, but like it's a 9. So
it's a dangerous 9.
So this is one we got a rule here at Drinking Parties: 9+. You got to warn people before they drink it.
Yeah,
Got it.
That's what we had a conversation.
Beer
It's like,
etiquette.
yeah.
You got a 9+. You got to let your man know, like, look, that's a 9. I don't know what you got planned later. I don't know how many you was planning on
It's
hitting.
just polite.
Because you used to be able to tell, and now they're getting better at hiding that shit. And there's techniques and things of that nature, or whatever, voodoo, whatever you want to fucking call it. Yeah, I mean,
This is definitely a sleeper 9 right here.
yeah, I mean, like mysticism, alchemy, Scientology, whatever the fuck they doing in the back there, they hiding the shit.
Cosby.
Oh no.
It's a Cosby 9.
Take a sip and then you out. You like, the fuck?
Somebody should look. If anybody names their beer the fuck,
The fuck?
you
The
know,
fuck?
you know it's a 9+ and it's smooth as hell. We gotta do that. But look, that takes us right into our guests, man. You heard their voices.
I don't know. Hey, listen, man. I ain't
We're
even.
talking about technicality. We're talking about improvement on the craft, but still being, well versed in the foundation.
Very
Now,
much
you
so.
have to do that when you're in a band, right? You got to have your own sound, your own feel, your own flavor. You have to know what you have to do technically. You know what I mean?
And I feel in a way, I mean, they're like a sleeper. You know what I mean? Like you put them on, and no motherfucker know, and then they know. It's like, who's that? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I fucked up, but we brought it back.
They'll come through.
We wasn't relating them to the whole Cosby trial. That was
We appreciate that.
We've gone discus tossing with all of our Cosby albums since then.
I'll say this: the name of this band, you can't. If you had 2 of these alligators, don't even try.
Yeah.
Don't even try.
Had to get that out early. That's why they're the first. They're the first
Right, 'cause
podcast.
they can't be 2 of 2. But we got Kevin, Jesse, and Ben from Los Vampiros Amarillos in the
Very
building.
good,
Say what up
sir.
to the
Yeah,
people.
very good,
My work
sir.
here is done.
Well done. All right, that was it for Drinking
2020 out
Partners. Good night,
here
everybody.
on our dean.
On
We ain't
our
been in this
shit.
studio in a couple of months, man. On our dean.
I had to
Yeah.
look that up phonetically.
This is delicious, guys, and cheers.
Yeah, very
Thank you so
tasty.
much for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Hold on, y'all got to do
Cheers.
a what up to the
Chin,
people.
chin.
That's as per drinking partner tradition.
Cilantro.
You got to give a what up. You got to say what up to the people.
What up, people? This is Kevin. I'm the drummer.
All right.
Hi, this is Jesse. I'm the guitar player, singer.
My name's Ben. I am the bass.
Not only
In
in
all
instrument, but
facets,
in
huh?
voice.
You're the Dave
keeps-
Bracey of the group.
Right.
Dave Bracey
He
of
keeps,
the.
he keeps the low end.
I just have to say, by the way, as a former theater guy, oratorically speaking, you're a master. That's like one of the first time I
That
started
might be
listening.
the best compliment. in
I
your face.
first
Wow.
Anytime a
Someone was
compliment,
like,
Oratorically
have you heard-
speaking.
anytime
have
a compliment starts with oratorically speaking,
It's going one
you
way or
wanna-
the other.
you wanna know how that sentence
you
is
know
gonna
what?
end.
Both ways are. All the
Yeah.
ways that you could say oratorically, I'm going to take as a compliment. I
Four
just don't-
4 years
However,
of voice and speech
whether
class.
I'm into it or not,
Yeah.
it's a compliment.
4 years of voice and speech class melted away when I hit play on the first time I ever heard the show. I was like, God damn, listen to that guy talk. God,
Thank you.
damn it.
I appreciate that.
You were nervous for a second though when
Yeah. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Welcome to the cast. I'm a fan. And I mean, like, you guys got a very like it's I don't even, it kind of like the 80s kind of, I mean, like garage, like, and
that's what we're going for.
It's a little all over the place.
Yeah.
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 So, real quick too, before we get into it, because I'm a fan of the show, and I wanted to save this for the
God damn it! I know
for the
what I know what that looks
for the
like.
live on-air reaction. So there
happening.
we
You
go,
see what I'm saying?
gentlemen.
This is why it doesn't die.
I
You see what I'm
sniffed it
saying? It's for these moments.
Yeah.
I smelled that Hennessy when you came in the room. I smelled it. I know what the Hennessy glass smells like. I'm like, someone has yak.
Yeah.
That is excellent. First guest of the year. You said
Hey,
this
we
is
started
the
we
top.
figured we started out
2020 with yak? With yak and beer? We
Yak and
starting it
beer.
like we started it. We
Yeah.
started it.
That is exactly
We
how this
starting
podcast
it like
started.
we started it.
Well, we appreciate you guys having us on. I'm a big fan of the show, and I figured, little Irish hospitality. So, cheers, guys.
Well, I mean, can we
Go, dive in, man.
While doing so,
We're not being polite.
So while he's doing that, when we speak about new beginnings, how did I'm gonna fuck it up? I'm not gonna say it.
Los Vampiros Amarillos.
Vampiros
You can
Amarillos,
also
how did that
you can
come to
also
be?
We call for abbreviation purposes, you can say LVA because we start
there
we
it
do a
is.
lot of
I was trying to figure out but I'm too high. So
Yeah.
I was like, it's a L and then it's more things.
yeah. Well, Jesse should take the lead because I'm still the new guy in the band, as it were.
Sure. So how we came up with the name?
No, how you came?
How
so
we
how
came
did the group
together.
come together?
Oh, how we came together. So Ben and I think I'm still Ben's longest relationship of his entire life.
Relations we've both had.
So I was in like a number of bands through high school and then through college and stuff, and but never really wrote any songs. Came up with some like garbage trash songs that I wanted to try out myself. Met a drummer at an open mic night at the Shadow Lounge.
out to Shadow Lounge.
2008-ish.
Big time.
And
Justin Strong,
it was it really was.
I joined so many bands doing those open stages. I miss that place.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Don't get me started.
yeah.
But Justin's still going strong. Check out Spirit down
Oh,
in
yeah.
Florida.
Absolutely.
Big time.
True.
Just, he's
Spirit's not all
the
dead.
best.
You know what I mean? It's out here.
Yeah.
So we did that. Like I picked up a drummer there, and then I think I sent out an ad on Craigslist, right?
Yeah, I responded to an ad on Craigslist, and he sent me his MySpace.
Of course. So it dates that a little bit.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
2008,
yeah.
2007 or 2008.
2008,
Yeah.
because I came back from college from Penn State and was looking for a band. So
2 decades ago.
yeah.
Yep.
Damn.
Isn't that weird? That's weird that 2 decades ago.
So my favorite story
I know,
of
right?
the band is Kevin is our 7th drummer that we've had. So finally, I feel like we've got
Lucky
one.
number 7.
Yeah, we only killed like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So,
All right.
but besides that, everyone else left on good terms.
So the name.
Sure.
Kevin's gonna.
So Kevin will take that on because that was his baby there.
So we were, when I joined this band in 2014, they were called the Me Too's. Which was
that wouldn't work now.
Nope.
right. So exactly.
Not 3 dudes.
You know what?
No, just didn't.
And
make
I
it just
appreciate
didn't
you
make
for
any
calling
sense
that out
anymore.
right away because so many people were polite to us when the movement happens. We got a couple of joke emails like, "You guys gonna change your name?" And we're like, "Well, we already announced like 6 gigs this summer, so we're just gonna kind of ride it out." And then,
And I don't have any good ideas.
yeah, we
And then we were called the Cosbys, and that didn't last long either.
she turned right around like, "Wait, what?" No,
Bad
we
timing all around, you know.
So the band was called the Me Too's. The Me Too movement started. We let it go for the shows that we had booked, but we knew we needed a new name.
Right.
So that's where I come in. My wife is from Mexico, and her father, when he was a teenager in the mid '60s in Mexico City, like any teenager back then, he was into the Beatles, the Who, the Tamla Motown, whatever, all the stuff coming from the States. They were big fans of, but those bands didn't tour down there at that time. So he and some buddies got together, formed a band, got like the top 40 hit of what was in the charts in 1965, and started a band called
cover band.
Los Vampiros Amarillos, the Yellow Vampires.
Wasn't it actually the Orange Vampires?
Oh yeah, so yeah, it was,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
Naranjados?
Los Vampiros Naranja, and my wife was telling me the story about my father-in-law's band and misremembered the name because Los Vampiros Amarillos rolls right off the tongue. She's, I think it was called that, and I'm like, we got to use that for a side project or something. And then like a year later, when the Me Too movement started, we were sitting around, and I'm like, well, we could call ourselves this.
We never got around to making that side project. So
Never got around to making the side project, but it was the style of our music was changing too, and there was a bit more of an energy and kind of like what you said, like early '80s kind of post-punk sneaking in there. It wasn't just more garage rock anymore, and yeah, that was how it happened. And back then, like I said, that was what they just called themselves, but they played American top 10 hits because they played the dances and the parties back then, and then like one neighborhood over there would be another band playing the Tamla Motown stuff, and then another band over would be playing like the pop, like the Osmonds and stuff like that or whatever. So like that was how it came to be. And so he was just a guitar player in a band called that name. And so when we needed a new name, that's how we became.
It looks cool spelled out. Comes with all different good ideas for like visuals and stuff. So just fit.
Yeah,
it fit with the new sound that we were going with too, which was kind of cool.
It doesn't really describe, like it doesn't pinhole us into one specific idea. So
what is your sound, and how do you utilize it to push the industry? I mean, like
sure.
What is your?
So we started out. We started out as almost like a blues band, really, like Americana, like stripped down blues stuff. But that wasn't really the sound of my songwriting, like it didn't fit. So we, with drummers changing and especially with like these guys influence how we sound. So like I have like a real strong affinity for like lo-fi, fuzzy sounds. Ben has punk influences, and then Kevin brings in this like sort of power pop, vocal harmonies, big sounds. So it's sort of an amalgamation of all those different things, and put it all together and see what comes out.
So in forming a group, right? So how do you decide what your sound will be?
You kind of let it. Yeah. I don't know. You can't force it.
You wind up painting yourself into a corner if you say like, we're going to sound like this and this and this. Like the only advice I ever give a band, if ever this comes up, it's like decide what you don't want to sound like, and then just get in and start rehearsing.
That's so much better.
And bring in
songs.
Way to do that. Like you don't want to say we're going to sound like this or this, because then it's not going to sound like that, and you're going to get wildly discouraged, and then you're not going to want to like, oh, maybe this isn't meant to be. Whereas you might write something really cool that doesn't sound anything like your immediate influences, but it could have a really good impact. I think because the three of us have different musical influences, I think that melds really good together. So like I always, have ideas for like a phrase or something that might turn into a lyric or like a skeleton of a song. Bring it to these guys, they'll turn it into something totally different and better, which is just today we were running through some new ideas, and it was like make this bridge longer. Let's lean into the song here. Let's pull back there, So I don't know. I mean, it just is. It has to be something that's natural, and it just happens. And you can't really say we're going to sound like this, because if you do that, you're kind of screwed.
You're pigeonholing yourself. I mean, you're not creative. You're just. I feel like if you say this is what we're doing, then you're just saying, okay, then I'm just going to draw on what's been done. Yeah, I mean,
right. Like you're just repeating stuff.
Yeah, and
something original.
Exactly. Creating something original that pushes the industry, and not just mimicking what you've heard and just chopping it up and screwing it and regurgitating it again and again ad nauseum. So, what are some of the I guess the hurdles or whatever that you see in a like what's the landscape of a artist of a band in 2020? Like what's the how do you monetize a band? I mean, and what is the difference between now and say 10 years ago, given the onset of technology?
The hipsters aren't around anymore to ruin things, so that's a good start.
Are the hipsters gone?
They are and they're not. A lot of them finally got old and sold out and got real jobs. But I remember 10 years ago playing shows, and it was just a bunch of like skinny shirt people just standing around like with their arms crossed, just staring at you. And then like they'd get up and do something that was either really good or really terrible, but it always got an enthusiastic response. It was very, very like specific as how you look, how you dressed. We referenced Shadow Lounge a minute ago, and that was like one of the few places I could go where it was like a guy would get up and do poetry, and then like a pop band would get up, and then like some guys would be like, all right, we're metal, and is that cool? And Justin would be like, yeah, go ahead. And this is like a Wednesday open stage, and everybody was there kind of throwing shit at the wall to see what stuck. And I mean, like I said, I joined like 2 or 3 bands on those open nights just doing that. So that's a more creative atmosphere than opposed to a lot of I felt there was a bit of a tightness in like the scene a little bit for a while. Like, you have to be this or else we're not going to book you. So
I also think with technology, like you were saying, there's so many more bands out there, and so easy to access bands now that, one thing that my dad, who is 68 now, always says is, there's never going to be another Beatles. There's never going to be another Zeppelin. There's never going to be another one of those old guys. And I don't think it's possible, because everything is just so accessible, and it's just like, where's the next band? Where's the next band? Where's the next band? Where's the next band? And they just dish them out. And I think we want to find that thing that's going to make us stick out, that's going to make us last a little bit, and that's really the key. And that's hard to do when there's so many choices and easy accessible.
Yeah, there's tons of choices. It's immediate. All of it's immediately accessible. But if you think about like that brief period of pop music between 1964 to like maybe the last gasp of like big pop music, maybe the mid 90s.
That's
maybe.
not a brief. That's,
but no. But like in the grand
I know
scheme,
motherfuckers that have lived less than 20.
no,
Yeah.
right, but in the grand scheme of things, of music, that was a weird window where like, there were huge superstars. Not that there's not huge superstars now, but it's in a different
That's
space.
what pop music is. Pop
Yeah.
is just a huge, widely accepted.
Right.
Like I don't know. Does pop to you have a sound? Because I feel like anything that can be digested by multiple or a very diverse crowd is pop.
If you say,
it's
I feel like
constantly
whatever,
changing.
I feel like whatever the number one thing is, then it's just pop. That's the sound.
So
of it.
now,
like
hip
rap
hop
right
is
now is
blending
pop.
into pop.
Yeah.
Hip hop
Oh.
is pop right now.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
With
Like
that,
before,
yeah.
rock and roll was pop. You know what I mean? At some point, jazz was pop. Like, you know what I mean?
Because
it was
the music
the
doesn't have a
popular,
message
like, the
anymore,
crazy kids and that new sound. Like,
Right,
you
A
know
lot
what
of
I
the music
mean?
doesn't
Like-
have a message anymore, though. Like it's just music to be
Well, I
digested
mean, but
and enjoyed.
But that's what music started out as, was just sounds. You know what I mean? It didn't have lyrics. It just was sounds that you moved to and you enjoyed that. You know, now, the skill involved in it, that was the thing that people kind of like, and there's a balance of that, because if it sounds cool, if it sounds good, who am I to say you shouldn't enjoy it?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But
I
at the
never
same
understood being judgy about other.
But at the
people's
same
tastes.
time, I do understand that you're just mimicking what has been done already and maybe jazzing it. So, like, I'm not going to respect you as much as somebody that is doing something that may have, being improving upon what is already done. Everything has its place, but for me, the way that I judge is basically is the skill involved and the understanding of, what came before it.
Right.
I feel like maybe the biggest difference is that it happens faster nowadays. Where I feel like in the 60s and 70s, like record sales went through the roof, so they were expecting more from their artists, but they still gave their artists like, months to just sit in a studio and write an album. Like you would write an album in the studio, which today is nuts. Like I don't know anybody that just goes into the studio and messes around for 8 hours.
Like
we didn't get anything and just leaves.
Like a record label would put you up in a space, and you would just be there. And
You would just
spend a couple $100,000.
Like there's a reason why there's so many pictures of the Beatles in Abbey Road is because they basically lived there and just were in there recording all the time. Whereas I feel now, if you're gonna be as big as like say a Kanye, or I'm just throwing like names out, but like it's very like actually a guy like at his level has his own studio, so he can do whatever. But when you're getting up to that level, they want you in there, they want you recording, they're gonna listen to it, they're gonna tell you if there's a single, and then we need you to make this album stronger with like something that's more radio friendly, and then boom, and they shove you out the door, and then you're on the road for 9 months.
Does Kanye own any of his shit? Didn't he go bankrupt and like the Kardashians
Well, actually,
started
maybe
financing
maybe
him?
like Dre, who's like he's got his own. He built his own studio in his new house.
Dre, yeah, but I don't know. Kanye, he might be on the Kardashian
I don't really
record label.
trust bankruptcy and words like that when you're talking about motherfuckers that like, you know what I mean?
Well, it's definitely a move.
When he's
showing
showing, exactly.
And you know what I mean? Like
bankruptcy
bankrupt
is
is a different
different
term. You see what I'm saying?
Well, it's
Like,
just, I don't
I
wanna
ain't got
pay
it
you
on
back.
me right
Right.
now. You
That's
know
what
what I'm
it
saying?
is.
Like,
I don't want to pay you back.
You ain't got it on you right now.
I got the lawyers to fight that I could keep these assets.
Yeah.
And you can take that other shit.
Yeah.
You can take the first edition of the Yeezys because I'm wearing jail slippers now, or whatever the fuck Kanye is on.
But even bands like that I grew up listening to in the 80s and 90s, like I listened to what my brother listened to, and then I started finding my own stuff in junior high school. Like going from Catholic school to a public school, suddenly all of a sudden I had friends that were listening to metal and listening to rap, and it was this weird influence. But they all seemed to kind of have time. I feel like there was less urgency to make money, and back then too, album sales drove artists and how they made money. Right. Now you have to tour. Like you can put something out online. It's like throwing a stone into the ocean. There's so much floating around.
Isn't that
out there.
better for you all, though, right?
It is locally.
It's good. That's good and bad. Like the complete accessibility of everything all the time is good and bad. I mean, in a lot of different spaces, but specifically with music, because before it was you had to. In order to actually care about music or even be involved in it at all, like you had to physically go to a place to get a record and like search it out.
We had to go to the record store,
and it was
the
only group of people that were doing that were people who were excited to go do that because you were going to do it.
All Tuesdays was when rap dropped. Yeah,
No Limit.
They had the
No Limit Tuesdays.
You had the sheet, and you'd be looking out 3 to 6 months in advance, like, oh yeah.
Oh, the album insert.
Yeah,
when the album cover had upcoming
coming soon. Like, ooh,
Yeah, that shit mapped out from January to April. You like, man, April 13th, man.
I remember in high school we had my buddy and I had a countdown to when the new Neil Young album came out, and we look back now hilariously because it was like we started fucking counting 3 months out. Like now it's like you just turn online and like, oh, someone just dropped a new album. You had no idea.
I didn't find that NERD album until like a year later. I was like, when the fuck did they drop? And then I listened to it ad nauseum for like 8 months straight.
Yeah,
like, I mean, like,
it was more of an event. I feel when we were younger.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not to come off as old man yelling at cloud, but I feel like back then there was more of a build up to like this band is putting out their new album. Here's a taste of the artwork, and holy shit, they're gonna fucking tour the world for 2 years. So you're all gonna get to see them, and it's big. And now it's like boom, someone's out, and then they vanish into like they go on the road, but there's like everyone's on the road because that's the only way to make a living.
So then, what is the structure that you put together? As a musician, because I mean, there are different motivating factors, right? You have the love of it, you have the need of it, you have the passion. I mean, like you have the skill that's involved. I mean, like, so with all of that, like, what is the route, like, I guess that you guys are choosing moving forward? I mean, how do you, like, because like a lot of folks, they do it for the love, they do it for the passion, they do, whatever. Like, what is it that you guys are doing it for? I mean, I think, how do you see yourselves, wading through, the future?
Yeah, I think the motivation that got me into music is not what the motivation that keeps me in music is. So the love that I had for music, the direction that I had going in is not the same thing that I had in 2008 when we first got together. I was much more open-minded back then. I was much more, I don't know, just go with the flow now. And now there's a lot, I find myself losing that, but it's important to come back to that and to recognize when I'm not going with the flow anymore and to get in check and to be able to say, and I think that's something that we do very well as a band is like Kevin was saying today, we laid down some songs today when we were practicing and Jesse came with a recording and then we added bass, we added drums to it right on the spot there. And that keeps that open mind. But if I would have sat down and really thought about it, it wouldn't have been as fun and it wouldn't have been as creative and on the spot and art. It wouldn't have been art. It would have been it would have been an equation. It would have been a problem.
I used if ever it starts. I've joked with these guys. If ever it starts becoming a job, then that we need to stop. And with these guys, the chemistry that with us working on new projects, it never feels like that. It's always fun, and we're really realistic about it. Like Jesse and I both have kids. We all have full-time jobs. We're not hopping in a van and touring the Pacific Northwest for a month. It would be fun if we were all 22 and single, but like locally,
it'd be fun now. If you
it would be fun now too. I don't know how well
kids,
I don't know how well the discussion with Jesse and I are going with our wives.
I don't know, man. My back is going. So I'm gonna be like, well, so how long is this trip?
You gotta get the good RV. You gotta get the good RV now. Now you got standards. Like, see what this toilet feel like.
A buddy of mine,
I'm gonna bring my donut with me,
Guided by
just in case.
Guided by Voices is coming out on tour next year, and my buddy and I used to go see them in Philly all the time. We were like late teens and 20s, and we made that joke. Now we'll be at the show like they were great. Now let's go home and apply some icy hot because we can't do. Now I mean locally, for me with these guys, I want to play good shows. I want to. Every album we put out, I want it to be better than the next one. We see friends of ours will play shows and someone will play a new song. You're like, fuck, dude, that we have to write something that good. And it's a fun kind of like
it's a friendly competition.
Yeah, it's a friendly competition. Yeah. And so to always continue to get better, continue to get stronger so we can play a show at Howlers in front of 50 people, or if someone calls and says, hey, can you open up for this person at the Rex because it's sold out, they know we're going to show up with a killer 30 minutes. Leave the audience warmed up and then walk off stage and thank you, good night. And now, that's always been it. It's just to be good and continue to grow as artists.
Man, I love,
we don't need the money because we all have day jobs. And I don't want to speak for every band in the city because I know that's a big thing. Bands not getting paid, and that's come up a lot in discussions.
Pay your performers.
Yeah, pay your performers.
Pay your fucking performers.
But also to the performers, like, if you don't need to get paid and you can get a gig, you should get a gig. But if you definitely feel like you should be paid for your talent, you should definitely make sure you get paid.
Demand payment.
I've said this on every interview.
Pay your fucking performers. You should demand payment and pay now. Because
I'm talking to two comedians, and like the work you guys do to put in a set is entirely different from the three.
It is, but it's work. It's work, you know what I mean? And it's time. And gas is a fucking thing.
Time is your most
travel
valuable asset.
It's like it doesn't matter.
Time away from your family is.
You can buy whatever. You can't buy time.
Yeah.
You
You're
can't replace
always
that shit.
underpaid.
Stand up is amazing to me. Just it's like the purest form of entertainment. It's like you can't hide behind anything. It's just a person talking to other people, and that's it.
You're
that's
either
all you
funny
got.
or you're not.
Yeah, you
Well,
can't.
we tend to have some beer between
Sure.
us.
Yeah,
Sure.
We might have a
Sure,
moment.
we do a lot of foreplay. Sure, we do a lot. of
Everyone
foreplay.
take
we
another-
warm up the crowd.
Everyone
a
take
little
another
bit,
sip
you
before I
know?
go into this new bit.
Just have a whole lobby of foreplay.
Some social lubricants.
the very
that,
best
maybe
opening
laid
act.
down.
Before I lay out these Epstein jokes, everyone take a shot.
Right, but so I was sitting here and I was wondering, like, how do you balance, for example, your feeling of, all right, I came in, I'm free spirited, I'm open into experience and stuff like that, and now, all right, I'm a little older, I got kids, I got to validate my time. How do you as musicians balance the art side of it with the marketability side, right? Because what opens you to being able to perform both in a small enclosed private event or at the Rex where you got hundreds of people? Like, how do you decide what tunes to move forward with? You know, because for us, for example, with comedians, right? If I'm not an edgy comedian, there may be certain jokes or topics that I'll opt not to approach because it doesn't fit into my act and it doesn't fit into where I'm trying to get booked. So if I'm, a corporate comedian, I'm not going to talk about Cosby rape jokes and shit like that because they're not going to want to hear that at this clean. I'm going to be strictly family and, Daisy's Rose and shit. But
I'm going to try to be as family as I can. That's what I'm going to do. You probably should be like, hey, I mean, these kids, are they exposed or not?
But with music, right, the sound itself, I don't know if that plays into
It does.
where you can get, you know what I mean? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, it does. So, you do have to be comfortable with saying no to stuff that you don't think is going to fit, and say no to the correct things.
Say that again. You got to say no to the things that you don't think is going to fit.
Right.
No, that's big. Like, as comedians, don't set yourself up to bomb. You just set yourself up to bomb and just be out there just like, I'm saying this shit. It kills.
Right.
Just
because they offer you a check doesn't mean you should take it.
Right.
Unless
When I
your
first,
rents do.
If your rents do, I mean.
If you're willing to just hold that L, sure, to get that extra 30 days.
So when we first started, my logic was take every single gig possible, like anything that they throw, you just take it. Right. And there may have been something good to that approach at that
early
time.
on, yeah.
You have to figure it out, and also I was coming into it totally cold. Like I didn't have a foothold in the music scene here at all, so I had to figure it all out. Now, I mean, I have a good sense of with who we would fit with for a show, what venue we would fit in, and choose. Pick and choose there, and also Kevin's just good at setting up gigs. Like he just took the reins.
Lucky
on
number
that.
7.
Yeah, he's just good at that. So.
And I think another thing is having a different set list as much as possible, mixing up the set list every night for
Huge.
where we're playing, what the event is, things like that.
We'll learn more about this in a moment.
Looking for training in a new career or just need help getting started on a new path? Are you looking for new employees, training for your current employees, or starting your own apprenticeship program? If any of these appeal to you, the Southwest Corner Workforce Development Board can help. With 4 Pennsylvania Career Link centers in Beaver, Greene, and Washington counties, we can help you meet your career goals or to find the right employees for your business. Contact our offices at 724-229-5083 or visit us at www.southwestcornerwdb.com.
How do you read a crowd?
Yeah, with y'all, how do y'all do
Yeah,
this?
Like for bands, if it's, we're not. I don't want to give anything away because we haven't announced any gigs yet. But like the first show out is going to be at Howlers, or actually we're playing an event, and then our first show on our own is Howlers. that was just strictly, I want to book 2 bands that we know that we love, and it's just going to be a fun night. But like last summer, I was trying to specifically genre hop with our band. So when we released our album, we had the Beagle Brothers open us, who are straight folk and country. And then Lo-Fi Delphi played before us, and they're almost kind of like, post-punk, really pop. Lo-Fi Delphi is the name of the band. Yeah.
So you're talking about like building a show.
Yeah, and so I will look at those bands we're playing with, and I will look at all of our songs and go, all right, we're going to take our closer and we're going to fuck ourselves and take our strong closing and we're going to open with it. We're going to put these songs in the middle and we're going to go one right into the other. So we're not even going to take a breath. We're just bam, 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 bam. Come out with that. We're going to put the song we normally open with right here, and then we're going to close with this new song, Good Night. Then if we go to another venue with 2 other bands, I'm looking at those bands and I'm looking at their sets and what they sound like, and I'm like, all right, time to so we can almost kind of reorganize ourselves to fit into that set, especially if it's bands that aren't really, there's like a lot of genre hopping that might go back and forth. I mean, I don't know, like as a comedian, you might look at an audience and go, they're kind of tight. And they're not really like responding well to these guys, so I'm going to open with these bits, and I'm going to try the new material in the middle, and then like have a reward for being good at the end with this one that I know is going to kill, and then I'm walking off stage.
Well, I mean, but so like something like that would be like, you know, like you said, like style of like this comic is like super high energy, then you know, like I can't just come in and like somebody, and it depends on your, like some people want me to be like, all right, I'm gonna counter that with just straight dead, you know what I mean, deadpan kind of, you know, low, just to kind of shock the system to get it back to like it's my stage. Somebody might be like, you know, I'm gonna ride that wave of energy and, you know, kind of come up here and then slowly bring them back down, and then, you know what I mean, whatever.
Right.
So like, you know, like, so like when you get a band like that, like has, you know, like a slower tempo or a higher energy, I mean, like, where do you go from that? Do you like, how do you separate? Do you look to separate it? Do you look to ride that wave? Like,
you ride the wave. If it's a slower band, I mean, for us, we're pretty high energy. We're really tight. I've always described this as really tight, super fast, super catchy. So slower before us is good. If they're as high as us or higher, you mean you just jump up on stage and hang on with your fingernails. There's nothing really you can. I in terms of reading a crowd, I can't read a crowd. I will think about the times we played at the venue, and I'll think about the other band's set, because we might show up to Howlers and it might be packed, and then we might play Spirit and there's like no one there. So you can't really, unless you know there's people showing up night after night, it's kind of hard to tailor the set to the audience. I try to tailor the set to complement us and the other bands that we're playing with. So there's kind of this through line through all of our
you're
bands.
telling them where to go as opposed to reading them and trying to figure out where they want you to go.
Yeah, we've never done this thing where like the audience is kind of whatever, we should open with this. I think we've really only done that maybe once.
So
and
you're
it
looking
was
at
like
the band, not the audience.
And we'll look at how the audience and the band that go before us react. And so once I think we moved like one of our killer songs up to the front to grab their attention, and then just went through the set as is.
See, that's different for us because so with you all, the songs are the songs.
Yeah.
The songs have certain keys, certain tempos, and whatever. I can have a joke and I can play with the tempo there within the joke. I can make it more high energy. I can mute it a bit. I can, you know, as far as placement, I don't find that I change placement often. I actually try to approach myself from the perspective of being a band. All right, I am what I am, right? So if you love this song, this is that song, just how that song so sound. I feel like I'm funny enough to where I'm gonna go and be me, but I will have to change cues within the joke, certain language, you know, certain things that I try to highlight within the joke. So if I have a joke about, let's say, sex with your spouse, maybe the joke with one crowd, a younger crowd, is about the nuance of sex. Like I'm going to drive home like sex and the act of sex. But then with an older crowd, I may drive home the feeling that I have with how I'm approaching or getting into the sex. Now the joke, the words might be the same, but the point that I'm trying to drive home is different. And that's how we can read. That's why we talk about reading crowds and why it's so interesting when looking at y'all. It's like, all right, if they don't like up-tempo music and I'm an up-tempo band,
it's
like they don't like us.
Oh, you thought this was a jazz concert?
You can't put it on 1.5. Would you put it on half on your iPhone?
Right.
Now you can slow it. You can't do that shit.
Plus, there's 3 of us too, so you have to work. You got to work together on that. With a comedian, it's just you and the audience.
I do not get along well with others.
Right.
Like, I mean, that's why there's the comedian and then there's the podcast, and the most I could fit is one other. Like that's as many as we've gotten to is 2. Like, so I can't even imagine. Like, I mean, 3 the whole night. I mean, with the like
this is a small group. I mean, it's a it's a small group. There's only 3 of us.
So I guess is this the bare minimum for being considered a band?
No, you can be in 2.
You can be a 2-person band.
Yeah. There like the White Stripes is the classic. Yeah, the bands like that, like the Black Keys are 2 guys, but they have to reproduce their albums. They might bring 3 other guys on stage.
Isn't the Gorillaz one dude?
I think it's 3.
No, I mean that's a. Oh well, yeah.
Damien. Damien. What's his name from? He was in. Oh God!
Gorillaz is one dude.
Yeah.
It's a rotating team of.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
because Del the Funky
people.
Homo
But he ain't
Sapien
one dude then.
is the rap.
But
on that.
so if this is the Gorillaz album, he's the only motherfucker you know.
Yeah, he
who's
was.
on
It was
he can
that
title-
was
but
was
he ain't-
originally a studio project.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just kind of threw that album out there to see what had happened, and it got huge. So it's like, oh, I guess we should tour. So
I ain't trying to fuck up nobody's money, but I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
if I'm contributing to the Gorillaz, you ain't gonna say Damon is the Gorillaz fan.
Oh no, I
on like 6
I just found it
songs,
weird
man.
that guy who was the lead singer of like a British pop band was then like fronting this more like studio hip hop R&B band, and it sounded good, and no one saw it coming, and I was like, oh, that's really cool that they did that. So,
Well, I mean, even for myself, so I grew up heavy hip hop R&B, right? And then one of the advantages of being on this podcast is like Dave has a whole different catalog of shit that he's into, so I get exposed to it. So I would have never heard of you all if I didn't have this podcast today. So like, I think we're in a time where everyone is expanding. Like we talked about hip hop being pop now. Like it's a blend of things that are acceptable and happy for people, like things that make people feel good. Everybody's into this shit now, like in all types of cultures, man. Like you, even like fucking drug culture, like some of the shit that was taboo in my neighborhood to fuck with, motherfuckers fucking with that now. Like people are doing that shit. So like
weed is not a weed is like a cigarette now. But that's what I'm saying is just that. But it's just so crazy to me, and that's what I'm saying when you say not just weed. Like I grew up when like you had to meet a motherfucker in the back alley for like a handful of $5 Mexican brick. You know what I mean? Like, and now motherfuckers just pass it around like it's cigarettes.
Bring back Nickelback.
And it's so crazy how quick. Like bring the nickel back. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's crazy how quickly that fast. It happens so fast and it's so nonchalant that like we don't even think about it. Like I'm at a party and I'm like, oh, I got some weed. And there's like, yeah, everybody got the weed now.
Their weed is better than yours.
And but back in the day, it used to be a motherfucking thing. And here we are now. So like I sometimes I don't know.
Real quick sidebar, the best comment on weed ever is Johnny Marr, the guitarist of the Smiths. In his autobiography, he's like, I always fancied smoking weed. It's like smoking a cigarette, but with 2 sugars. Which I just think is like, it's such a, such a great quote. It's such an English and great quote. I just loved it. So
it's definitely changed. For my job, I wish this was my full-time job, but my real job is a drug and alcohol counselor.
I've been there.
So I sit back and I listen.
I didn't want to do that to you.
So I sit back and listen and I say, holy shit, just how much has changed and how much drugs have changed and how much what people do to get up, get down, to move forward. And we're talking about beers being 9% now. I wanted to say just how weed has changed. The medical grade stuff right now, which is wonderful, is you could have whatever you want. You could have whatever kind of experience you want. Back when I was in high school and I smoked, whatever I bought is what I was getting.
That's
what the fuck is coming.
And there were sticks involved.
Right.
Yeah.
Lots
Remember
of
you
sticks,
had to
lots
pull
of seeds.
sticks and seeds out of your weed?
Yeah.
They got weed now. It just look like baby doll
I haven't
hair.
seen I haven't seen a stick in 7 years.
Oh my God! If with some sticks,
that's the quote of the show right there.
You some weed with some sticks. You gotta punch him.
Right.
Like, where you get this from? Are you?
I'm just not smoking that. I thank you
Nah,
for your
now
offer.
at a party, it's like
I got
your
it.
kind offer.
No,
sir.
it's not a kind offer though. That's not a kind
Listen,
offer.
man, if a man offers you weed with sticks, he didn't do that proudly.
No.
Like, I mean, like he know what it is. He was like,
oh,
listen. it's what I
got.
He
got the explanation before the offer. Like, yeah, so, man, I've been working a lot.
If he grew it and he said, "This is what I've been growing. This is the best that I could do," I'd say, "Man, I respect that.
I got this. It's not off. This is the first batch.
I'm trying a new recipe.
Yeah,
this is the first edition.
I just got this grill. I'm working it out. Like,
our first album, we did a disclaimer. Like, this was, we were rushed.
Yeah, don't go to episode 1 of Drinking Partners. That's what I like when motherfuckers.
You keep saying I'm proud of episode 1.
That first episode of like now in a sense, but
that first episode had tons of sticks in it, but
it might have been a seed or two.
That should be like if ever we have a bad rehearsal, like that fucking rehearsal was loaded with sticks. Guys.
There you go. You can have that.
Yeah.
So like it's crazy though. Like do you have a lot of collaboration like in your music with other artists? Because like that's the thing, like with rap and hip hop or whatever, like it's always featuring somebody. You put out an album, you got like 3, 4, 5 of or whatever. Like, but with like bands, it's typically like it's the band, and then you might have like a guest singer or something like that.
We experimented with a guest singer, and we did one song. I wrote a song with a duet in mind. And he knew
you guys were listening to it when we walked in. Our friend Wendy sang on that track,
which I would love to do a lot more of that, like bringing guest musicians.
And she sang with us live a couple of times so we could recreate it on stage.
That is something that I would actually like to borrow from hip hop because I think hip hop does that the best.
What are some of the barriers to doing that in your genre?
I mean, because one of the barriers is I play guitar. Mm-hmm. Like if I want to record it, I can do it. You know what I mean? But like you might get another guitar player that would do it a little bit differently. So that shouldn't be a barrier, but it is because the path to least resistance is just I could do it. And especially with technology, the way recording technology is, like I do that part in my house. I could do that.
The studio is in his house, so we record a lot of. The last album was recorded in his house entirely.
Because, like, I mean, I'm thinking of like the creative. Yeah, I mean, because like that's what. So say like when I hear like a hip hop song, I'm like, oh, I want to hear the style of so-and-so and the style of so-and-so and how they blend together.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, how they mesh together.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like UGK and Outkast came together and I was like, and you heard UGK and Outkast and the blend of it became something new and it was like, you know what I mean, or whatever. So like, how do you do that in your genre?
That's
I mean, like
that's an all-timer right there.
It's just
give it up for that.
Man, it's the only anthem that I will repeat at will on demand.
Well, then there's so many like Mad Villain, that collaboration between Madlib and I forget his name. Doesn't matter. But like, there's a ton of examples like that. But you're right that there aren't as many examples in guitar-based music.
I think early punk rock back in early punk rock for me, early 2000s. There was like various artists like. And it was very similar in the same essence of even like NoFX, Bad Religion, things like that. The Fat Records days where it came out around the same time of I always think about Rough Riders Volume 1 album that came together. I grew up on that and just the collaborations that went on that album did inspire me at the same time that Warped Tour bands inspired me at the same time to hear how people. So I think for bands to come together, going back to making a show, there's sort of a theme that goes around. There's a feel, there's a theme to the whole show rather than, one thing, one band, or like you said, how do you get that collaboration? Just a feel for it.
And we did it on the show that we ended off. I'm an old theater guy. Like that was my education. So you'll hear me drop terminology that refers to our music in like theater terms, but our last season of shows.
Oratorically.
Yeah, oratorically.
Oratorically speaking.
If we can talk ideas and vocab all day, I'm happy. No, but at the end of in October, we take like a break in the winter to write and record new material and to practice and kind of, you throw the old set out, you redo it. And also at the time that we started doing this, my wife and I had just had a son, so it was kind of handy to not be trying to do shows when my 2-month-old isn't sleeping at all. So,
yeah, definitely. It is.
That'll
hard
affect you big time. So.
Yeah, it is hard to find paid maternity leave or paternity leave. In entertainment,
or tell my wife, hey, you've had him for 8 hours because I'm doing this gig and rehearsal. Like that wasn't an option for me. But that last show, there was a guy who was playing shows in the middle of the last decade when I was getting more and more gigs, that he joined us on stage and played a song with us. And then one of the bands that we were playing with that night, Chet Vincent, he's got this band called The Big Bend. Well, Chet and Daniel, the lead guitar player of Chet's band, got up and played a Neil Young song, and they played one of our songs. So there was an influence where that song we've played as a 3-piece. We now had 2 extra guitar players and backing vocals, and it sounded fucking huge.
Yeah, so we've done that in live settings. Yeah. We've done that a number of times in live settings, and it's always been super fun.
But that last album, that is the only time we ever had a guest star, and that was our friend Wendy, who's a fantastic singer.
Which was really fun to do, like hearing someone else take a piece of music that you wrote and like the lyrics that you wrote and deliver it in a way that you probably wouldn't necessarily consider, and it comes out better. It comes out.
Do you coach her on that though? Or
no,
do you
I
say
didn't.
Here's the music, sing it how you.
I gave her. I did a scratch track of the song, how I would do it. Just like a bare recording of it, like
just him and the guitar,
unproduced. You know,
what was that? That's the shit that got Drake in trouble.
Yeah.
That's the shit that got. I forget what it's called. A reference.
But I mean,
reference track.
That happens. That happens all the time in music. It's just that hip hop has this air of authenticity, and that was the thing growing up in the 90s with rap, is like, yo, you wrote your lyrics. I mean, that's at least that's what everybody was claiming.
Yeah.
Nowadays, the stories is coming out, and you realize, like, all right, there was probably like a couple folks writing, and
Kanye
then
ain't writing a lot of that shit.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, Rhyme Fest. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And that's the thing, is that now we know that it wasn't as authentic as it was being claimed to be. But for us, it but I feel like a lot of it. I feel like a lot of it was more in that genre than it is. I mean, it was just because it was socially acceptable.
Big music, that's the thing. Like R&B has always been.
There's
a producer like, yo, I wrote this song.
Yeah.
You sing it. They like you. I get some money off of this.
You think of like the Brill Building days and stuff too. It was like a bunch of like, a couple of male and female white Jewish people writing like Tamil and Motown hits for artists, and then. But at the same time, you had like Otis Redding writing a song, and then Aretha covers it, and it's huge because she heard a song and covered it, and then like that's respect.
That's her song. That's her song now.
I mean,
you hear a song come out, and you would instantly cover
it. It was like 4 songs in the 60s, and everybody's just like.
I mean, last night I went to see bands play at Howlers, and I was watching one of the bands. There's this band called Down and Out. It's these 3 girls that are amazingly talented. And it's Holly and Heather and Kaylee. And I was watching their one song, and I'm like, I'd actually love to fucking cover that song and make it like a little louder and a little tighter. And I was like, that would be a great song for us.
All Elvis did was cover songs. You know what I mean? He just repackaged it and kind of, put a little bit of a different twang, and then boom, it was, whatever. I mean, but again, it's more acceptable in those other genres, than it was for some in hip hop. And so with that Drake thing, it was like when it came out, it was like, oh, he's not writing his lyrics, and it's like this motherfucker. Because I mean, that's the thing, though, right? Like you spend your whole life like coming up with these lyrics and this and the other. You've dropped that thing that makes you that thing, and then they're like, all right, do that again in 9 months.
Yeah,
do it again next year.
The joke is
tired of this.
The joke is a band that makes it big, especially in the 80s, spent like 4 years writing their first album, and then they finally got it, and then they toured for 9 months, and the studio was like, all right, you have 8 months until we need the next album, and they try to write it, and that's like the sophomore slump. It's not that it's a band that can't write an album, it's like they had no time, and they're not seasoned in writing an album that fast.
Well, that's why we're so big on small business. Small business, that lane allows you time to develop and grow.
Right.
Whereas when you get to the commercial level, it's all about the bottom line.
Yeah.
And we need that bottom line to be consistent. So once this starts to tail off, once those album sales, those streams or whatever start to tail off, we need that new piece of product.
Exactly.
We need that new song. And it doesn't matter if something happened to you within these past 3 months, Dave. We need some new experience. And
I like that you have this idea. How much is it going to cost us?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, I mean, we appreciate you folks coming in. I mean, this has been super dope. I feel like we should probably cover another one of these Alley Gash Dims. Are y'all in for one of these?
Totally
I want to say, by the way, I was rude earlier. I like totally hose this.
You
Sierra
torpedo
Nevada
the
with-
torpedo.
Yeah,
I
torpedoed the torpedo. Yeah.
We appreciate
There's a
this,
lot of beer on the
bevy,
table.
yeah, that y'all brought through.
Y'all brought
this-
Hennessy. Like if it was just this little Hennessy here right in the middle, I'd be cool.
That would have been it.
I'd make that.
I told the guys, I'm like, we have to bring some game.
I make
when
that
it comes
Henny
to beer.
stretch.
So in
Is
the
that 10% one?
in
here?
the interest of the rules of the game, this is a tenor, 10-4.
So we're gonna start talking some serious shit after this one.
I do not know how to pronounce this, so I mean, I guess we can all kind of pitch in.
Is it French?
Yeah, I mean,
No, you ain't even gonna try to go
I
first.
ain't even fuck that.
How awesome would it be if I was?
You know the
Curie out,
Mama- you know the Mama-
you could just pass it along. We could just try to.
I just
we
want
could all-
harmonize just in case y'all needed a lead singer. I always try to. I always try out.
Dude,
band comes
We're always up
I'm
for
always
new.
looking for a
No,
spot.
we all got to figure. You know, we
I think
got
it
to take
says-
a crack at.
I think it says fucked. I think that's what it's. I'm gonna go with Curio.
Curio.
Okay, Curio. I like that. You can repeat
That X-
someone else's
Yeah,
pronunciation.
that X is in the wrong spot. I think. I think
No,
they
that
messed
X-
up.
You think that was a typo on the
I don't
on
think
the
that
label?
X, I don't think that X
Hey,
is supposed to be
Allagash.
there.
Check the
Kiru.
Curio. Oh,
Ooh,
Curio.
Curio.
Curio. That's like you with your lady.
Phonetically.
Yeah.
You pop that bottle of Curio. Curio. That's like.
I mean, plug in my
that's like to make
wah-wah
you feel
pedal and
better. I got me a bottle of Curio.
Cryux.
That's.
No,
I don't.
I'm kidding.
I don't think that's it.
That's not even close to
Yeah,
that.
that's
This
last
was-
place.
It's Belgian style golden ale aged in bourbon barrels. That's probably where a lot of that 10.4 comes from.
Yes, sir.
All that bourbon leaking
I
out of
see
the.
what you're doing too. We need your pronunciation. Don't be trying. Don't you try.
Look, I have a theater degree.
Try
I
and
didn't say I could
delay.
read. You know.
Trying to delay your shit. Like it's bourbon style.
Let me just see how long I can talk before I let them know I can't pronounce the name. of this.
I don't know how it is, but shout out to Allagash for sending it. Yeah, I mean,
Beautiful stuff.
It looks dope. I haven't had it quite yet, but it seems quite amazing.
Have you been to Maine before?
No, I heard it's a vacation state. That's what they told me. They were
Never
like-
been to Maine.
Never heard
I don't.
that.
So I don't really travel north
Never heard
for leisure.
Not at all.
If-
I feel like you go
yeah.
to Maine, you got to kill a bison.
Yeah.
What's for dinner? It's Roman. Whatever you can slay, I can burn. You
You
like,
go,
all right.
you go up to Maine for vacation. You come back looking like Leonardo did in that. what was that?
The Revenant.
Yeah. What you do? I was cool. I did some hiking. Got mauled by a bear. Went looking for my son. That was about it, really.
That shit crazy.
What do you guys think? What's that hitting for? What is it?
That is really crispy. It's got a really great flavor to it.
And again, you wouldn't think.
No, this is not. This is a. We're going to call this another sleeper. This is really dangerous because I could easily see myself chatting away on here and putting down half a pint of this, and then I go to stand up and I'm screwed.
And also, like, it was. You said it was aged in
Bourbon barrels.
I would think it'd be darker. It's not dark at all.
I was gonna say that. Like whenever I hear barrel,
depending on how
aged, I'm
long it could
thinking darker.
sit.
Right.
Well, it's a golden ale, so that's how they.
That's
get
what it
you.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you pour. See, that's the thing about these beers these days. Because like even right now, with the Modern Methods coffee that I'm drinking right here, or whatever. Like it's a coffee, but it's blonde. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
like with
we had that.
Yeah, so it has the dark flavor, but the light body and shit. And that shit, man, that shit be
Fucking
fucking.
getting too
It's the
good.
clear Kool-Aid, man. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
Pepsi One, you know, or the Pepsi Clear.
Pepsi Clear,
Pepsi
yeah.
Clear. It's
Yo,
like
I've
it's like
never ever thought about
Or Crystal
drinking that.
Coke.
It's the choice of new
I
generation.
It makes sense to me.
I drank it once to be like, oh, that's what it is, but I didn't. I was like, I don't want it anymore because it just fucks with my like. Yeah, I mean that mystery flavor with the. You know what I mean? Now the only thing that I do fucks with the mystery flavor is the Laffy Taffy.
Oh, the Airheads.
The Airheads. Is
And
that,
it was
not the
always
Laffy
cherry.
the white Airheads or
Yeah,
whatever.
it was always cherry.
Yeah.
It was always cherry. It was always cherry.
The mystery solved.
It was always
Mystery
fucking
solved.
cherry. Yeah, no, I like this is very yeasty too. I did
Says
yeast.
yeasty.
Yeah, like
Yeasty.
that
Yeah.
yeast come out.
Well, that's that Belgian.
Oratorically speaking,
Yeah.
it's yeasty.
Well, yeah, you're right. That Belgian will make that motherfucking yeasty in the motherfucker.
Yeah, you never had that feel like that guitar solo when they That's that yeast feel like let them know it's it.
Oh yeah, to get you in the back.
See?
Like yeah, I
See?
mean yeah.
That's 240 episodes working right there. Nobody else knows what the fuck I'm talking about.
Gets you in the back. You're like, oh, okay. So before we peace out, we're gonna bring this back into it. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna bring it into it.
I always try to stop it from doing
what is your favorite form of potato?
Favorite form of potato?
Yeah.
I'm Irish, so I should already have an answer ready. But no, I'm kidding.
Favorite form of potato.
Yeah, what is your favorite form of potato?
I'm going to go with the classic American French fry.
Okay, that's not enough.
That's not enough?
Specifically.
What cut of fry?
Oh, God. All right, so we're going to go classic Idaho baked potato.
Classic Idaho baked potato.
Are you talking about string? You talking about the string?
No. Wait, no.
Am I going back?
You said fries.
Oh, fries.
What
So we're gonna
kind
stick-
of fry?
Oh,
You think like waffle?
Yeah, there's
Waffle.
all the fries.
Waffle,
What kind of fry?
regular.
just your garden variety, not like
There's
the
no
thin
garden
McDonald's.
variety?
No, but not like those like real thin fast food fries. I'm talking like they were clearly sliced back there and put
Oh, you're talking
in
about
a
the
fryer.
hand cut?
Yeah.
Hand cut fries.
Actually cut back in the diner, and yeah, they were fried in something real fast, but they come out and they're hot.
Sprinkle
and
of salt.
salty. Yeah, exactly.
Got the little
Maybe sprinkle a little whatever back there.
Hand
Exactly.
cut. Yeah, I fuck with that.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, absolutely.
I'm going fried with a little bit of garlic and olive oil.
What kind of fry?
Deep fried.
No, what kind of fry?
mean?
How are you
What type of
cutting?
potato?
How are you cutting the fry? How are you cutting the
Is it?
potato?
You're saying fries?
No. It's not scalloped potatoes.
Like home fries?
Yeah, right. With a little bit of garlic and olive oil. I think that sounds nice.
You got garlic and olive oil
Yeah.
in your home fries? All right, I got to try.
Well, why not?
I ain't saying you should.
I just made it. I just made it
Like
up.
Italians?
I just made it up right now. Yes.
Yeah, all right. Okay. What is it? Is it a shoe? Yeah, just throw some garlic and olive oil.
Got garnishment on his home fries?
Simmer and low. Garlic and olive oil. A bit of salt. It'll be
parsley on the little leaf.
Yeah, a sprig. Just a sprig of whatever. It doesn't matter. There's a sprig will do. Yeah. So
Before I answer this, can I give a shout out to my friend's brewery up in Pittsburgh? Small business, Stick City Brewery.
what do you mean? Can you throw out a like? You know, I'm able to drink. Can I shout out breweries, local breweries?
They're up in Cranberry, very fine. Ron and Derek, good
We got
people.
to link up with them.
Yeah,
Stick
truth,
City
man.
Brewery, very
we'll
good.
definitely we'll get them on the cast, get
They're
them out there
wonderful.
to Contra.
And while we're at it, real quick, another quick shout out this to anybody listening in the Portland, Oregon area, because we're drinking this from Portland, Maine. But Portland, Oregon, there's a wonderful tap room run by my brother Brian Cook called Lombard House. That's on Lombard Street. And for the life of me now, I'm going to forget the neighborhood where it's placed. But Brian is one of those. Portland, Oregon. Not to
From Portland, Maine to Portland, Oregon.
from Portland, Maine, where we're
Welcome to
drinking
Drinking Partners
this
Podcast.
Allagash, to Portland, Oregon, where you can go to Lombard House and have an excellent selection of beers. My brother really knows his shit and does a lot of stuff locally for the community, for charity, and he's just a great bartender and he's got a great staff. So if you're out in Portland, Oregon, go check it out.
All right, on to my potato.
On the potato selection.
A latke, potato pancake, which is a Jewish potato pancake.
That's a first.
Serve it with applesauce, sour cream.
It's wait, so applesauce and sour cream?
No,
I've only had it
applesauce
with one or the other.
Yeah, one or
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, one or the other.
Yeah. Oh, you all in?
Yeah.
You like
I've been thinking about this.
like because there's so like in the black community it's grits, but it's either savory or sweet. Yeah, I mean you throwing cheese in that motherfucker, you throwing sugar in that motherfucker, and it's a and I feel like there's with the latke. Yeah, I mean are you throwing sour cream on that motherfucker? Are you throwing applesauce? You doing both of them? Yeah.
I don't know if I ever had both, but they're good, wonderful, fine potato.
A latke.
Latke, yeah.
I'm not gonna try it. I'm gonna remember it. I'm
not
not gonna try
Bro,
it.
if you ever get a chance to have one of them motherfuckers, they are fire as hell.
I
bro.
believe it.
I'm
I'm gonna take your word for it type of guy.
It's a potato. It's fried.
Yes.
So if somebody offers you a fried potato, it doesn't matter what region of the world you're in. You just say yeah.
But if
you
someone
shred it. You
offered
shred
me
a
a
potato.
fried potato with applesauce on it, I would probably like, what?
Yeah, that's how yeah, exactly. That's how I was. I'm like,
I've never used applesauce as a condiment.
Don't give me the whole thing. Yeah, I mean, don't just
not that
Don't
much.
give me the whole thing. Give me a piece of yours.
Yeah,
and I'll let you know if I'm.
It looks like a pancake.
Yeah, you shred the potatoes and then you
it's a potato
roll them in
pancake.
flour and then you fry them in oil and they turn into little patties. Put some applesauce. Put some.
Don't y'all eat that like on the eve of some shit?
Yeah, it's a Hanukkah.
Hanukkah. Yeah.
Am I allowed?
You're allowed.
Totally.
Right. I don't know. I don't want to be disrespectful
Come on.
to the go. Maybe I choose the
100%
wrong
you're allowed.
applesauce.
You get him at eating pork right now.
Maybe
you could. You get him at. I just got him at eating pork as a side. You know, instead of fries, you get potato pancakes.
Maybe y'all don't fuck with motts. And if I put the motts, came Mazel Tov with the motts. I mean, like, you never know.
I was out in Philly. And that was like, and I was in college, and I went to my friends. Around like Christmas, so it was, and it was the eve, and she gave me like the potato pancakes and like some bread or whatever. And it was, I was like, oh, what the fuck is that? Like, it was a fried like thing, fried in, and I was like, oh, that's how y'all doing y'all shit over there.
You probably could.
It was
I
alright.
don't see why not.
It was a little. Bro, it was fire, and I was like, man, applesauce. I don't know about that, but it actually,
it's surprising.
It's a nice because it's a
Surprisingly
sweet. Like savory, in that same vein or whatever. It's
exactly.
So it's word nice.
Did you go to college in Philly?
I went to IUP.
Oh, okay.
But IUP is just Pittsburgh, like it's in the middle of the state, just like
because I'm originally from outside Philly, so I was curious.
Okay,
I mean, I lived in Pittsburgh. This is coming up on 20 years, but yeah, mom's from South Philly, dad's from Southwest Philly. She's corrected me several times.
What's Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Word.
Northwest Philadelphia. Born and raised. Moved to Glenside. Had Kevin. End of song. There were a couple more siblings, but anyway.
All right, so I think while Buzzy's not here, I think I can hear Buzzy saying, wrap it up, B.
I have a real quick question, though, before you guys wrap it up. Real quick. Influences comedians.
My father.
Your father?
Yeah.
God damn. Yeah, no, I mean, Richard Pryor was, huge.
Okay.
There's hella, growing up, but I think a lot of Chris Rock and a lot of Kanye West was like how when I first got into it, I kind of was emulating, just that, irreverent, but with education,
cool.
in some regard, but I don't know what the fuck I am now. I'm just more of a drunkard.
You're oratorically sound.
Yeah, oratorically.
So
thank you so much, guys. By the way, for having us, man.
And
It's been a blast.
With that, we have to ask where the people can find you.
Oh, sure. Let me give it to Jesse.
Yeah. So our records are available on all streaming services, Spotify, Google Play. You can check us out on Facebook, Twitter at Los Vampiros, Instagram, all that. So we're everywhere, and we'll be hitting the stage again this coming spring. I got some stuff coming up in April that's going to be announced soon, and then pretty much through the summer we are pretty well booked throughout the spring season.
We're taking May off, and then we have shows in June, July, or as far as August.
Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah. Cinco de Mayo?
Y'all taking May off for Cinco de Mayo? Y'all just doing like a whole month celebration?
Why not? Let the tequila flow, man.
Let the fucking tequila flow. I don't know if that was racist or not.
As the only person here who's related to someone from Mexico, I'm going to say no.
I'm in the clear?
Yeah, you're
all
fine.
Right, cool.
You're fine. We're just talking holidays and alcohol, and we should probably wrap it up with that because we'll just keep talking about it.
Then we'll say some real American and then fuck it all up. Let the people know where they can find us.
Hey, man. We are the Drinking Partners, and if you're looking for us, you can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspot. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, Google Play, and Spotify under Drinking Partners. You can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod. You can find us we're in January.
We're in January, but you can find us somewhere in June.
January 18th.
June 20-something.
January 18th, not at Arcade Comedy Theater, Three Rivers Underground Brewing, and Dwayne Duke. You can find us January 25th, Contra Theater, T-Robe, the big homie, T-Robe. Right Three Rivers Underground Brewing yet again. Shout out to Epicast Network and also JD Law, the official legal services of the Drinking Partners podcast.
Yeah, we be getting sued and shit.
I wanted to say something that had a bleep over it.
Well, we was about to be sued. We was about to offend the whole Mexico. So I was about to.
You listening right now, like work ahead.
But hey, we want to thank the yellow vampires were coming through because LVA is in the building, and I don't know how to say it in Spanish.
Los Vampiros Amarillos.
Yeah, there you see. You do the double L. I know how you do the double. He's been
a little trill in the other. Yeah,
he's been
He's been putting that tongue to work.
I had to get that shit right, or else my father will be very mad.
Rolling that double L
for the relationship.
Oh shit!
All that 4 years of voice and speech class. That's all I'm going to say.
We're not even gonna go that crazy. But look, we want to thank y'all for coming through, man. Check them out, look them up, man. As always, you know what I mean. Look us up. We got events coming. We starting off 2020 strong. Look out, man, because we coming right at you. We going hard in the paint, and as always, Drinking Partners is the crew. Epicast is the family. And we out of here.
Amen.